What's poppin', y'all? It's Finesse Squire, and I started a YouTube channel! I don't have a jingle yet, but I'm working on it. But I should get a jingle so that you guys know. Anyways, it's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff. It's gonna be current events, it's gonna be politics, it's gonna be dating advice, it's gonna be funny legal advice. Either way, I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it with our first topic of the day, the Epstein files. These niggas are not releasing all the files, and it's not sitting right with me and my homegirls. They passed a whole bill about this, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And the whole purpose was to require the Attorney General, aka Pam Bondi, aka the worst person on the planet, to release all unclassified DOJ documents, communications, investigative materials, and records related to Jeffrey Epstein and any associated matters that are searchable and downloadable. Anything that was in public format. Basically, the act was designed to force maximum transparency about Epstein-related government records while also balancing protections for victims and legitimate privacy concerns and national security concerns, yada yada. It is now confirmed, and this is the part that kills me, that the DOJ withheld several files that involved President Trump. And honestly, just as a brief aside, it really pisses me off that I have to refer to him as President Trump. That's y'all's fault. Actually, the people that are watching this probably aren't a part of that, but it's somebody's fault. And it makes me want to put my face first in the middle of a cheese grater in the Mojave Desert. But as I was saying, even beyond what was explicitly redacted, some files were briefly published, then removed altogether from the DOJ database, including photos and other documents that were visible for a short period before disappearing, which is crazy. Why is everything disappearing? And this is the thing. There are a million people online already telling you what was redacted from the files, what's missing, how it's illegal, and we all know this, but I'm here to make a different point. I think we as a society, as a country, have lost the plot about what crimes we are okay with the president committing. There were things we used to accept and be okay with because we know that the only way to become president is to have a little smidge of underlying criminal activity. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we expected. I used to love a little tax evasion, a little falsifying business records, obstruction. I was even okay with a little election fraud if it was only a few ballots in a small county. But we've gone too far. We've lost the plot. We are now at a point where we have spent nearly a year trying to get the DOJ to release documents proving that the President of the United States is a pedophile. This makes me miss Reagan. This is the thing, it's just because Donald Trump has been convicted for suppressing free speech and negative stories during the 2016 election. He was charged with conspiracy against all of our rights and actions tied to efforts to overturn the 2020 election. He was charged with participating in the January 6th Capitol attacks. This man was indicted on a RICO in Georgia. The president, not Young Thug. Well, yes, Young Thug. Yes, Diddy, but the president. This is clinically insane, and this deviates from the plot and the crimes that we're willing to accept as Americans, and we need to stand 10 toes down. They're asking us to broaden our horizons a little too much, and I want to go back to the crime that we were comfortable with. Like, for a frame of reference, the big drama in 1968 was when Andrew Johnson removed a cabinet secretary without Senate approval. This happens on any given Monday under this administration. Like, this is crazy. I'm debating Trump supporters so hard online about the Epstein files and Donald Trump that I'm starting to accidentally let Republican talking points slip out of my mouth. They bring up Bill Clinton and I'm like, well, at least Monica was of age. Like, this has gotten out of hand. And that's really the problem. This isn't about left or right or even Trump versus his enemies. It's about whether the presidency still has a floor. Like, not a ceiling, a floor. Transparency laws don't exist for shits and gigs, bro. And accountability isn't optional just because the accused is powerful, loud, orange, or exhaustingly familiar. If the government can pass a law promising sunlight and then quietly put the blinds on when the light gets uncomfortable, then crime isn't just whatever is in the files. It's the expectation that we'll accept not knowing, and I don't, and I won't. And I want my corruption boring. I want my scandals finite. I want my presidents to be the same standard as literally anyone else in America. That's not radical. That's the bare minimum. And I would like that back. Okay, if you're watching this video, it means it's January 6th, or a few days after if this trial wheel is still doing the Lord's work. But anyway, January 6th, 2021 was the day that Congress was supposed to do one very, very, very boring and important thing. Officially count the electoral votes and certify that the 2020 presidential election actually happened and who won. Instead, a crowd of Trump supporters, fueled by false claims that the election was stolen, stormed the U.S. Capitol to try to stop the process. The goal wasn't sightseeing. It was delaying and overturning the peaceful transfer of power. Lawmakers were evacuated, the count was paused, people were injured, someone died. It was nothing light. And you know what's so shitty about this? The part that I think no one talks about? Like, if you were born on Christmas, that sucks, because your birthday is never going to be the most important thing that's happening on that day. But now, if you were born on January 6th, that also now really sucks. Like, we actually have so many famous fallen soldiers that were born on this day. Mr. Bean, Kate McKinnon, Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd. I just imagine them texting the group chat like, hey, why did no one get me gifts for my birthday? And they're like, we're a little preoccupied. Like, this is crazy. You know who else has a January 6th birthday? Capricorn Clark, Diddy's manager from that documentary that 50 Cent dropped. But honestly, her being born on that day kind of feels correct. Like, she deserves that curse. But you know who missed it by one day? Blue Ivy. And I love that for her, because she didn't deserve that curse. Blue Ivy is the GOAT. She deserves January 7th. So now we celebrate January 7th. January 6th set us back as a democracy because it tried voting like a suggestion box instead of a sacred process. Something that Black Americans have literally fought, bled, and died to access. So when people stormed the Capitol because they didn't like the election result, it sent a message that democracy only matters when certain people win. For communities that remember poll taxes, literacy tests, getting fire hosed for registering to vote, not even voting, registering, that's not ironic, it's insulting. And you don't get to cosplay rebellion in a building Black janitors had to clean afterwards and call it patriotism. I'm not having it. And on some real shit, January 6th was especially wild because it showed the world something that we all know still to be true, and it's that the rules don't apply to some people. Peaceful Black protesters asking not to be killed by police get riot gear, curfews, lectures about law and order. Meanwhile, a white mob breaks the windows at the Capitol and somehow still finds time to take selfies and is freed from prison by the president. The smartest and saddest part is that Black voters have consistently been some of the strongest defenders of democracy. The strongest defenders of democracy: high turnout, organizing, coalition building, doing the boring, grown-up work that actually keeps the system running. And then January 6th tried to flip the board because some players didn't like the score. But Black civic engagement keeps reminding the country that democracy isn't about tantrums like they like to throw. It's about participation. And if America wants to move forward, it might want to listen to the people that never stopped believing a vote was worth protecting, even when the country didn't protect us back. So on this January 6th, I've decided I'm not remembering the mob anymore. I actually like Dr. Bean. I watched those movies. But I'm going back to celebrating them because I'm tired of this Remembrance Day. This is a stupid Remembrance Day. Like, we're supposed to remember MLK, Valentine's Day. Well, actually, a lot of us have never celebrated Valentine's Day. I know I've never celebrated Valentine's Day, so let's just scrap that one from the board. I do Galentine's. Where my bitches at? But I'm not celebrating January 6th no more. Only people I'm celebrating are people born on January 6th that I like. My Christmas tree is still up because that's exactly what the Lord intended. It will be up the entirety of January because that's what's supposed to be happening. What I do in my house is my business. And what you do in your house is also my business. Because why is your tree already down? Why is the tree already taken down? Christmas just ended. Grinch. Y'all have lost the plot. I've been on Instagram and I've been noticing that people are putting their tree up before Thanksgiving, and then the second December 25th is over, y'all are taking the tree down like it owes you money. This is incorrect. And I don't like it. It's counterintuitive. It's blasphemy. It's not the order that the world was intended. This is the thing. January is hard. I've already set a bunch of New Year's resolutions that make this month feel like a punishment. I'm doing dry January. I need to lose a pound a day. The only things in my house are water, air, and kale. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing the best. The only joy I have in this month is looking at that tree of the holiday that has already passed and trying to convince myself that this joy can last a lifetime. That's what I'm doing with my time. The holiday is over, but the joy can remain. It's technically gone, but it can come. But the remembrance, the lights, the ornaments, the sheer defiance of reality brings me peace. And I'm okay with that. So if my tree offends you, turn away. Go into your sad home with no tree, but don't worry about my house. I'm continuing my holiday cheer well into the new year and attempting to preserve the fragments of happiness that are keeping me from crying into a celery stick. So no, I will not be taking my tree down. It will come down when I'm ready, willing, and able to accept that Christmas is over, which realistically won't happen until February. Do you understand me? The sun is setting at 4:12. Let me have this. I need this. I need this. Caller, what is your question?
Hi, I met this amazing man, but he's 5'11", and I've never dated a man under 6 feet. What do I do?
Okay, wait. Okay. How tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
Get off my phone. This call makes me understand why some men say that women should not have the right to vote. This thing, as a 6-foot woman, I would like to go on the record and say, if you're below 5'8", you are not allowed to have a 6-foot height requirement. You literally do not have this jurisdiction. You do not. You're cutting off 70% of the population willingly, and for what reason? For no reason. Listen, I'm 6 foot, so me dating men over 6 foot wasn't my choice. It was a choice made by God when he put me in this stallion body. But you, this was a decision that you made on your own, and I don't support it. Like, why would you willingly cut off half of the population? These men could be eligible bachelors with good morals, strong values, strong stamina. But because he's not 6 foot, we're throwing him to the wolves? No. And I want you guys to know, this is coming from a place of hate. I'm gonna be very honest about that. You can already detect it. For the people watching this and they're like, who hurt you? You're correct. I have been hurt because I don't get to operate from a place of wanting men to be taller than me in heels. I come from a place of accepting the fact that that's never going to happen. So yes, when a 5'4" girl calls me and says she wants a man taller than 6 foot and has me ready to jump in a lake in the middle of a Detroit winter, I'm angry. You can put on 5-inch heels and he's still taller than you. Go date that 5'11" man. We need to give these men a chance. We do, because if y'all keep bullying them, they're gonna start getting that surgery. They're gonna get it because they aren't tall, but they can't afford the surgery to make the arms match. So now we just have transformers roaming our earth because y'all have bullied them to the point of transitioning. And that's the transitioning that we're not talking about enough. You know, everyone's focused on male to female. Everyone's focused on that one. No one's focused on dwarf to Shaq. And also, we need to give short men a chance because they have a lot of pent up energy from like wanting to be desired. So when a woman gives them attention, they're coming correct. Like, leave the 6'5" cheaters behind. They're too gassed up. One time I dated a short guy for the plot, and honestly, it wasn't bad. Like, short men approach you like they've got something to prove. They're like, hey, I know the odds aren't in my favor. You can see it in their eyes. They're like, bitch, I'm not scared of you, and I want you to know that. And they'll have you rethinking your whole life. You're like, should I have been doing this the whole time? Like, maybe I don't want an NBA baby. Maybe I'm okay with a jockey. You know? Maybe I'm okay with a short man. And this is the thing. Dating them has its benefits. I got the top shelf, you got the bottom. If I lose my keys under the couch or something in a tiny little crevice, they don't even got to bend. They just already there, ready to go. Like, you only got to upgrade one of the seats on the airplane because he's fine in economy. His knees don't touch the back of the seat, mine do. Y'all aren't thinking of the bigger picture. So to that caller, go date that 5'11" man. And honestly, you're 5'4", date a 5'8" man. Even 5'7". Never waste my time and minutes on this again. This is crazy. Okay, so I'm a lawyer. So every episode I'm going to end with giving you guys some legal advice. So I want to let you know that a lot of you are one lie away from catching a case, and luckily I'm here to help. There are a lot of cases in the news right now that I've been like thinking about that have been prompting me and just prompting the world to have more conversations about sex, interpersonal relationships, assault, and things of the like. Diddy had a case, Russell Brand, Russell Simmons. When the Diddy case happened though, he was charged with trafficking. And I realized that people had a huge fundamental misunderstanding of what trafficking was. And a lot of people thought trafficking was like getting 100 girls, flying them to fro to Mexico, Morocco, Burkina Faso, when it's actually much simpler than that. Trafficking is essentially forcing, coercing, or manipulating someone into commercial sex or labor, often through threats, lies, and abuse of power. And based on that definition that I just gave, Diddy did that shit. He objectively did it. And it also made me realize that I think a lot of people don't really know what sexual assault is and how expansive it is in general. Like, it's not just pinning a woman or man down and forcing them to have sex against their will. It's any non-consensual sexual contact or behavior. I think the one that I feel like the world needs to understand more about is sexual assault by false pretenses. The sexual assault by false pretenses doctrine is a legal concept in some jurisdictions, but it's about situations where someone consents to sexual activity because of a lie or deception rather than giving fully informed consent. So that consent was obtained by fraud and legally might not be valid. Here's the core idea. Sexual assault generally involves sexual activity without consent. False pretenses occurs when someone consents because they were misled about a key fact. The law asks if that consent was based on a lie, is it still valid? In some cases, the answer is no. Let me give you an example. If you tell a woman, my name is Johnny Rocket, I'm a banker, I make $500,000 a year, and after tonight, because you're so pretty and because your butt's so fat, I'm gonna take you to Fiji. And she has sex with you because of that information, and that information was a lie that you told in order to get her to have sex with you, that is sexual assault. Lying about who you are. And it applies to all genders. If a woman says to you, my name is Susie Q, I'm single, I got an STD test 2 weeks ago, don't worry about it, and it came back negative, and you find out that she had a boyfriend, wasn't in fact single, and she got tested, and in fact is not clean, and you had sex with her because of this information, and if you knew it, you would not have done it, that is sexual assault in some jurisdictions. Period. We cannot lie to each other to get people to sleep with us. That is disgusting. And you're not who you think you are if you have to lie to get pussy. If you're really that nigga, tell her you have a girlfriend. And if you still get it, you really are that guy. But if you have to lie, 0 stars on Yelp, don't pass go, go all the way to jail. Do not collect $200. Because there are a whole lot of examples of false pretenses, honestly, like pretending to be someone else, which is like identity fraud, lying about a medical condition that could affect your partner, misrepresenting contraception, saying you're on birth control when you're not, or saying I have a condom on and you took it off, promising marriage or a relationship just to get sexual activity. All this could be grounds to catch a case. And so when you're about to tell that little white lie just to get a girl or guy to go home with you on Saturday night, maybe rethink it. Because you could really catch a case. And I know the one, I don't want you to overlook that, lying about a condom, saying I have a condom on, or I kept the condom on the whole time. I finished in the condom and you didn't really, all of this could get you in a lot of trouble in some jurisdictions. So yes, I honestly just wanted to have that conversation because I feel like we think of it as this huge thing, but it's actually a lot smaller things. And if we're just honest to each other, especially in these moments and in these interactions, people will catch a lot less heat. People won't be cussing each other out, beating car windows, beating the homegirl's car windows because she thought you were texting the other girl. And we just need to all stop lying and just be a little more honest, especially when people's bodies are involved, because everyone wants bodily autonomy. Everyone wants to feel like they're making an informed decision when they're having sex with someone or electing to have sex with someone. No one wants to be lied to, deceived, misled, or coerced. And if you're really the big man, if you're really the boss bitch, you do not have to lie. Tell them the truth. And if you still get it, 5 stars. 5 stars. You get to pass go and collect $200. But if you don't, go take that L in private, please. Thank you for tuning in. I had a lot of thoughts this week. I'm gonna have a lot of thoughts every week. You can catch me any given Monday, dropping the whole video, all 5 segments. Follow me on Instagram at FinesseSquire. I'm gonna be posting little clips from this, also posting a whole bunch of my other work. So thank you for tuning into episode 1. Thank you for coming to my space. I got this design wall just for you. Like, subscribe, interact with me. Can you DM people on YouTube? I don't know, but if you can't, DM me. They're open. Not for men though. Well, platonically men. Whatever, everyone just DM me. I'm open for business. Thanks for joining.